Ladies and gentlemen, one of the coolest, one of the hippest, really all-around talented, Lindsey Harrison, a marketing specialist. How did you get so smart, Lindsey?
I have to come on every day. This is my favorite radio station, and keep coming with the ego. I love it.
No, I'm very, very serious, actually.
Do they teach it in college, these kind of marketing skills?
You know what? This is all just me doing it day in and day out, to be completely honest with you.
And Lindsey, again, you never ask anybody their age. I understand all of that, but she's not very old, and she's had how many companies? 5? And
I'm on my 6th. Yeah.
Yeah, she sells them back, and she makes money. It's one of those, and she is really pleasant and talented, and it's wonderful. What is your company name?
It's called Crowd Marketing.
And you focus on the digital side of marketing. You know what? I said TV has a real problem with their DVR. But you know what? I saw the DVR defense the other day. It was during the British Open, and they played the commercials on a split screen, so I couldn't fast forward through it.
Wow.
I know.
That's incredible.
I saw golfers putting, and I didn't want to miss that, so out of the corner of the eye, I could see the commercial, even though it wasn't totally focused on it. I said, that's the DVR defense. TV.
They're starting to figure it out.
Well,
sure.
I don't think it'll work during, your drama, because you can't hear the drama dialogue. So, anyway, for sporting events, it worked. So, there's so many things, and digital marketing is such a specific and learned deal that you have done a very effective job with some major large clients. It's still about the millennial, is it not?
Well, I read a study just the other day from USA Today, and that study actually starts to talk about how boomers are still the marketplace leaders when it comes to amount of dollars that are spent across the marketplace. And it makes sense to me. You've got boomers that are in their 50-plus, 60-plus age range where they have just retired or they are thinking about retirement, or maybe they've even decided that they are going to stay in their job just a little bit longer, so then they have more money to be able to spend on what they, to spend on things that they've been waiting to spend things on.
And the boomers are also getting into, obviously, smartphones and ways to reach them, but some of the stuff you guys can do to connect with people, a lot of it starts with the phone, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it definitely does. So, we can target people as they walk into maybe brick and mortar stores. Maybe they're in a general demographic or a geography location. We can target them based on that. There's all kinds of things that we can do on the online market. And if brick and mortar stores are wanting to continue business, I think that they're going to have to really start figuring out how to target specifically boomers online.
Okay, so here's a on-the-spot question. What's the most exciting, latest in digital marketing that makes you go, whoa? Is there anything like that recently occurred in the last year or so?
I think that for us, it's really the geo-fencing. So geo-fencing is to where, say you have McDonald's and you have Wendy's, and I am representing Wendy's. And Wendy's says, I have a better burger than McDonald's does, and I want to target those consumers that are walking into McDonald's. I can put what's called a geo-fence around all of the McDonald's across the United States, and anybody that walks into those McDonald's, I now have information to be able to retarget them, saying, hey, why don't you come try the burger at Wendy's next time?
Wow.
And that, for me, is pretty interesting.
You know what, though? A lot of people have said, wow, creepy.
I have to be a little bit careful of the things it is that I say, specifically when it comes to new customers or even on the air.
Yeah.
I've had radio stations and I've had TV stations that have taken those words that I have said and kind of spliced them in different ways to where it does sound creepy.
Yeah, what it is advanced knowledge. It's giving people a chance to reach more consumers to buy their stuff. And you're right in the middle of it, Lindsey. It's always a pleasure. Crowdmarketing.com. Is that where people find you?
That's it. Thanks so much.
Well, you're a star. Keep it going. Way to go.
Y'all have a great rest of the day.
Oh, love that, y'all. I mean it. Come on. Stop it, y'all. Have a great day, Lindsey.
.642 at KPEL. Welcome back to Acadiana's Morning News. Baby boomers and the economy. It's not the first time you've heard the two as they go hand in hand. And this morning,
we're going to talk a little bit about it with Lindsey Harrison, marketing specialist, joining us on the line. Now, Lindsey, I know we only have a couple of minutes. You know, everybody thinks, oh, it's about the millennials. It's about the millennials. But really, it's the boomers who are still spending the bucks.
Yeah, you know, they've gotten to a point. So boomers are right at the 50-plus to 60-plus age group right now. And so they're at the point where they're starting to retire. Maybe they already have retired. And they've got some more disposable income to start spending. So they're spending that towards travel, towards entertainment, and a large chunk of it is being spent towards medical, too.
you know, as the son of a boomer, and I guess I'm in the dreaded millennial category, you know, I find that, you know, my parents, I know they have worked so hard and they have always put so much stress on saving and us saving and what we should do that usually it's me encouraging them, like, do something, spend your money.
Yeah,
hey, buy the name brand Coke. Right. You know, and I think a lot of times maybe the younger generation is driving them. Are you seeing that, Lindsey?
Well, and I'm in the exact same boat that you are. So I'm considered a millennial as well. And my parents, you know, both of them are now at the retirement age, and they're jet setting all over the place. I mean, why they weren't doing this when I was younger, I was pretty upset about the whole thing. But
well, and, you know, I think maybe it's because they see some of their friends and other people that are their age that, you know, said they were going to wait until they retired to do things, and then by the time they retired, maybe you couldn't hike up that volcano.
Right, and I think that now, you know, your demographic of the boomers, they are doing things unlike any other generation before them. So your 50s to 60s, before them, the generations, it was like, okay, well, it's time to die. And now it's, okay, we have this rebirth, and we are going out, and we're empty nesters, and we don't have to work anymore, and let's start enjoying it. So you're definitely seeing a lot of that.
All right. Well, I'm sure they'll play a big part, you know, going forward here in our economy.
Marketing specialist Lindsey Harrison, thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
You too.
Radio 600 WMT, where we're joined by marketing specialist Lindsey Harrison. Lindsey, good morning. How's your Tuesday so far?
Good morning. It's great. Thanks for having me on.
Glad to have you on. Advertisers can now take a break from fixating on millennials because baby boomers and their elders are making up an outsized share of consumer spending. Now, Lindsey, is that because they have more money to do this, or is that because millennials are just not putting out the cash the way that the baby boomers are?
Well, I think that it's all of the above. So you have your boomers that are kind of in their 50-plus, 60-plus age right now. And so that's the time that they are retiring, or maybe they've decided that they are going to work just a little bit longer to have a little bit more of that play money. And they have a lot of financial advisors that are saying, look, you guys have saved for a really long time, or maybe it's even millennials of the parents. They're saying you've saved for a lot of time. It's time for you guys to get out there. It's time for you to travel. It's time for you to entertain yourselves. Go.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, about 11 hours from now, I'll be hosting the Premier Investments of Iowa Financial Hour, as I do every Tuesday night. And one of the things that the Premier Investments guys say is they say very clearly that when you retire, you will have an uptick in the amount of money that you're going to spend for a number of reasons, including, hey, you've earned this, so it's time to go out and enjoy it. But that doesn't mean that millennials aren't spending at all. They are spending. It's just that it's not at the pace, and maybe the numbers are a little bit different.
Yeah, and they definitely aren't spending as much, but I also don't know if that what it is that they are spending money on is it's not as high ticket dollars. So you look at, they're spending money on clothes and maybe furniture, they're spending money on jewelry, they're getting their cars, they're doing those different types of things, but that doesn't, there's no really comparison of those compared to going on our dream vacation or some of the medical expenses that probably are starting to incur because of our age, or the entertainment. You know, we're no longer going to do maybe just movie on the couch. Like, we're going out and we're starting to enjoy those specific services because we can now.
Yeah, because we can, and that's one of the nice things about that is that you can, and people can feel comfortable because, hey, we've been riding a bull market now for I don't know how long, 9 years or something like that, and the millennials, because of their recency bias, they grew up during this time of want and stock market crash and people getting fired. They've got a different view of things, it seems like sometimes. Lindsey Harrison, marketing expert, thank you for joining us here on the WMT Morning Show. Hope that you have a great Tuesday, all right?
You too. Talk soon.
All right, take care.
Well, anyway, we got more important things to talk about here. Lindsey Harrison joins us right now, marketing specialist. And Lindsey, you claim it's baby boomers that are making the big difference in the consumer spending and the strength of the economy right now.
Yeah, definitely. So I read a study, USA Today, a few days ago, and that is what they are claiming. And, you know, a lot of times I don't agree with some of these, but this one I do.
What's wrong? I guess the millennials don't have as much money, considering the boomers are the ones with the money. You got to expect them to do the spending.
Well, definitely. And boomers are now in their 50-plus to 60-plus generation. This is kind of the time frame that they are in. And so they are going from maybe not so many of the consumer goods, because clothes, they probably still already have quite a bit of clothes, furniture, jewelry, cars, those different types of things. But they're going and they're moving towards services. So they're at this retirement age, or maybe they are working a little bit longer to have more disposable income, and they're spending that money on travel, on entertainment, and then the big ticket items are sometimes the medical side of things. And I would say that, yeah, that is probably right. That probably takes up more money than maybe a T-shirt that you buy down the street.
Now,
yeah, I agree with this study.
For the baby boomers that are spending that money elsewhere, is that hurting those consumer stores?
Well, so it does say that Macy's and Sears, they are definitely taking a hit on things. And to be completely honest with you, I think that Macy's and Sears probably have bigger issues than just trying to figure out where people are spending their money. I don't know the last time I was in a Sears, other than probably when I was about 10 and my father was trying to do something with his washing machine warranty. And Macy's, they're really great for the parades, but other than that, I'm not totally sure why somebody goes in there. So I think that they've got some bigger fish to fry.
The Macy's parades. Well, Lindsey, what's your website?
It's Crowd Marketing. So that's I as in igloo, T as in Thomas, crowd like a crowd of people, marketing.com.
Crowdmarketing.com. Lindsey Harrison, thanks for joining us on AM Tampa Bay.
Have a great day.
We point out that although, and even yesterday, we had a conversation about workplace culture and about being flexible about what outfits, what dress code that you can have to help those millennials. It's important to point out when it comes to the economy, still about the baby boomers. On the live line with us this morning, marketing special Lindsey Harrison. Good morning, Lindsey.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on this morning.
So for those listening to the program right now, what trends can be used? What should we know specific to brick and mortar stores, say, where we know that this group is probably more likely than a millennial to shop? What can we learn from this information?
Well, I think that you have some of the brick and mortar stores, and specifically in this study, it was Macy's and Sears, that they have probably been targeting millennials quite a bit, and they're seeing a huge decline in their brick and mortar transactions. Now, while my opinion is Macy's and Sears probably have bigger fish to fry if they're going after millennials anyways. I'm a millennial, and I don't know if I've stepped foot into a Sears. I do think that maybe they need to start looking at going after the baby boomers who are kind of in the 50 and 60 year-old age range that have the more disposable income to spend on those specific things.
Well, and isn't that kind of part of the problem? And by the way, let's be cognizant of this. Marketing and Madison Avenue, which as it used to be referred to, has always gone to market to the younger crowd because that's the up-and-coming group that they want to get brand loyalty and all of those things that really don't exist anymore, it would appear, in the millennial group. But you kind of laid out the case. You've got a group of people with a pretty good disposable income, but if you let your infrastructure collapse that they have depended on, brick and mortar stores, anchor stores and malls, those kind of places, it isn't likely you're going to push baby boomers wholesale into some kind of an online shopping frenzy. So these places probably have to do both at once, don't they? Don't they have to try to appeal both to the millennials but still be able to maintain their brick and mortar?
Well, and I actually don't even know if that's the case, to be honest with you. So Sears, from what I actually just heard, Sears is looking at doing a partnership with Amazon. And that right there is more of a forward-thinking idea of what it is to come within the industry. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but you look around, I'm here in Dallas, and you look around and all of the malls are going under. So brick and mortar just kind of as a whole, why would I end up going there? Yes, the experiential side of things, but if I need a T-shirt or maybe I need some furniture, I'm okay buying that online and having it delivered to my door.
But then maybe...
Isn't that the point, though? You're
Right.
okay with it, but baby boomers may not be okay with it.
Well, I think that we are discrediting that as well. I think that baby boomers, with social media, specifically Facebook, baby boomers are the largest demographic. They are moving faster and faster to social media platforms and to online shopping than any other demographic as well. They now have they're in their retirement age, so they now have the disposable income to be able to spend that on entertainment. Maybe it's on travel. Maybe it's on these disposable things, and they're just fine doing that online as well.
But they can't do it without the millennials, right? Their grandkids and their children to help them with that process. Marketing special Lindsey Harrison, a pleasure this morning.
Kogo News Time, 6:13. Baby boomers and their elders are making up an outsized share of consumer spending. The trend has significant implications, not only for the biggest brands that are missing out on a lucrative audience, but for an economy that continues to trudge along at a pretty modest pace. Marketing specialist Lindsey Harrison is on the Kogo News Live line. And Lindsey, retail, big box stores, et cetera, in trouble. And we've not seen an economy barreling forward like we would have expected post-recession. Why?
Well, I think that you see a lot of marketers that are putting a huge emphasis on millennials. And millennials, while they may have money to spend, they're spending it in different ways. They are starting to see that authenticity might be a little bit more up their alley. You're starting to see the trend of tiny homes. So less is more, travel is more, experiences are more to millennials, and that doesn't really sit well or work well with big box retail.
Now, why do advertisers, retail and otherwise, overlook older Americans when they're marketing? These are people who have a significant amount of money.
Yeah, when I read this study, I'm not totally sure. I would have to say if you have a business and you have a marketing expert that's telling you to just specifically go after millennials or put all of your eggs in that basket, I would run as fast as I could from them. You have this baby boomer demographic that's in their 50-plus, 60-plus age range, and they are either retiring now or they are maybe deciding that they're going to work just a little bit more to be able to have that money to spend on things like travel and entertainment and services and things that they can now start to really enjoy because they're reaping what they've sowed.
So now, marketing targeted at boomers, could that save some of those big box stores? We hear of them closing all the time or even contracting.
To be honest with you, I think that's a pretty aggressive statement. When you look at Macy's and Sears, if they've been targeting specifically millennials over this last generation or the last 10 years, I think that they have bigger fish to fry because I'm a millennial and I don't know the last time I stepped in front of Sears. So I think that there's some bigger issues with that, and I don't even know if going and starting to advertise to boomers is going to turn that around.
So what's a good retail strategy for marketers?
Well, so for marketers, Sears, whoever is talking to Sears, it sounds as if they are going to be partnering with Amazon. And I think that is a huge step for them. I think that you're going to start seeing that hybrid of companies. So if they are brick and mortar, to start figuring out the online presence or partnering with companies that are dominating that online presence already, because there's a huge part of the market that still likes to go out and look and touch and feel. And then maybe they like to buy it online because that's delivered to their door. So that would kind of be the way that I would push these big box retailers into.
All right, sounds good. Thank you so much for your time. Lindsey Harrison is a marketer and a marketing specialist, joining us here on the Kogo News Live Line.